I watched my sister shove her phone in my face right there in the funeral home lobby. "Read it," she said. "You're not family anymore. Don't sit with us." The screen glowed with a group chat message. My name was crossed out. The front row seating chart had been rewritten without me. My aunt leaned in close and whispered just loud enough for the people nearby to hear. "She just wants attention, even now." I looked up at my sister. "You're serious?" Her eyes went cold. "Dead serious. Leave before you embarrass us." I felt my face burn, but I swallowed it down. They had no idea what was going to happen in 3 weeks. My name is Danielle Carter. I'm 34 years old. I work as a hospice nurse, which means I spend my days caring for strangers during the hardest moments of their lives. I bathe them. I hold their hands. I listen to their fears when no one else will. In my family, I was always the quiet helper. I organized doctor appointments, I handled emergencies. When our Aunt Linda got sick, I was the one who coordinated her care, made sure she had her medications, sat with her during chemo. I did it because I loved her, not because anyone asked me to. But I was never the golden one, never the child they bragged about at gatherings. I was the backup plan, the reliable one they only called when something needed fixing. My life wasn't fancy. I drove a 10-year-old Honda, I lived in a small apartment, but my work taught me something valuable. I learned to notice details. I learned to spot when people were hiding things. And I had patience, more patience than they ever gave me credit for. I also had something else, a memory for details, especially when people thought I wasn't paying attention. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, even though you're the one doing all the work, this story is for you. If you're the person everyone calls when they need help but never invites to the table when decisions get made, you'll understand what I went through. Subscribe if you've ever been the one holding everything together while everyone else took the credit. Have you ever been pushed aside during a moment that mattered most by the very people who were supposed to stand by you? If that resonates, click the hype button or drop a like before we go further. You're going to want to hear how this ends. The trouble started 5 days before the funeral. The family group chat lit up with messages about logistics, flowers, seating, the memorial service program. Suddenly, I wasn't included in any of it. I'd been the one organizing Aunt Linda's care for months. I knew what she wanted. I'd written down her wishes during those long nights at the hospital. But now my suggestions were ignored. Then my brother sent a message that made my stomach drop. He accused me of mishandling Aunt Linda's final days. He said I'd been controlling, that I'd kept family away. The words were sharp and designed to humiliate me in front of cousins, uncles, aunts, who were all watching the chat. I tried to explain. I sent screenshots of the schedule I'd created so everyone could visit. I reminded them that I'd called each of them personally to update them on her condition. My sister replied with a laughing emoji. "You always make everything about you." At the funeral home, I found out they'd rearranged the seating. I was placed in the back row. When I asked why, my cousin said it loud enough for everyone to hear. "You're not immediate family anymore, Danielle. You overstepped." I felt my throat tighten. People stared. I wanted to scream, to defend myself, but I just stood there. Then I overheard something. My brother and sister were standing near the coat room, talking in low voices. I caught fragments. Money, account, split it before anyone notices. That's when I knew this wasn't just about grief or family drama. Something else was happening. The betrayals came fast after that. First, they erased my name from the memorial planning committee I'd started. They used my ideas but credited someone else. Then my sister started spreading rumors. She told extended family that I'd taken advantage of Aunt Linda during her illness, that I'd used my position as her caregiver to manipulate her. The accusation was vicious and completely false, but people believed it. At a family gathering 2 days after the funeral, I overheard my aunt repeating the story. Danielle was always hovering. I think she wanted something. I felt humiliated, frozen. I wanted to leave and never come back. The third betrayal was the worst. I got an email notification that I'd been removed from a shared account we'd set up for funeral expenses. Then my brother sent a message accusing me of stealing money. He said funds were missing and I was the only one with access. It was a lie. I had receipts for every single expense. But I didn't defend myself out loud. Instead, I started saving everything, every message, every receipt. I created a folder on my laptop and backed it up twice. I wasn't going to let them rewrite history. What they didn't know was that I'd been saving every message and receipt since the hospital days. I'm a hospice nurse. I document everything. It's part of my training. And I documented all of this. I went back through Aunt Linda's bank statements. I had access because I'd been helping her pay bills during her illness. That's when I saw it. Suspicious withdrawals. Thousands of dollars taken out in the weeks before she died. The signatures didn't match hers. I pulled up old emails. I found messages where my brother asked Aunt Linda to sign papers. She'd been confused, medicated. I remember being there when he visited with a folder of documents. I had recordings too. I'd recorded some of our family meetings while her care because I wanted to make sure I got the details right. In one recording, my sister and brother discussed moving money before things get complicated. I had everything: a timeline, evidence, proof. I consulted resources from my professional network. I knew what elder financial abuse looked like. I'd seen it in my work, and this fit the pattern. I contacted a senior social worker I'd worked with for years. Her name was Gloria. She'd handled cases like this before. I showed her everything: the bank statements, the forged signatures, the recordings. She looked at me over her reading glasses. "Danielle, this is serious. You need to report this." "I know, but I need help. I need someone who knows how to do this right." Gloria became my ally. She walked me through how to organize the evidence legally, how to present it, how to make sure it couldn't be dismissed or twisted. We worked together for 2 weeks, quietly, carefully. Meanwhile, my family grew more arrogant. They thought I'd given up. They thought I was too weak to fight back. My sister posted on social media about how glad she was that the estate was being settled quickly. My brother made a joke in the group chat about me being dramatic as always. They had no idea what was coming. I scheduled a meeting with the authorities. Gloria helped me submit a formal report. We included everything: bank records, forged signatures, recorded conversations. Then we waited. It happened on a Tuesday morning. I was at Gloria's office when I got the call. The police were at my brother's house. Gloria and I drove over. When we arrived, 2 officers were standing on the porch. My brother and sister were inside, visible through the window. They looked panicked. One of the officers saw me and nodded. "Ms. Carter?" "Yes. We'd like you to come inside. We have some questions for your family." I walked in with Gloria beside me. My sister's face went white when she saw me. "What is this?" my brother demanded. The officer held up a folder. "We're investigating financial exploitation related to Linda Hayes' estate. We have evidence of unauthorized withdrawals and forged documents." My sister's voice went shrill. "That's ridiculous. Danielle's lying. She's been lying this whole time." The officer opened the folder. "We have bank statements showing withdrawals made under suspicious circumstances. We also have recordings of conversations discussing the transfer of funds." My brother froze. "Recordings?" I didn't say anything. I just stood there. The officer read from a transcript. My brother's voice, my sister's voice, the conversation about moving money before things get complicated. "That was taken out of context," my sister said, her voice shaking. "We also have documentation showing Ms. Carter reported every expense accurately. The missing funds were withdrawn by other parties." Gloria stepped forward. "Ms. Carter has been cooperating fully. She provided all of this evidence voluntarily." My brother looked at me. His face was red. "You did this?" I met his eyes. "I just told the truth." My sister started crying. My brother started shouting, but the officers kept talking, kept presenting the evidence, kept dismantling every lie they'd built. The investigation moved forward. I was cleared of every accusation. My name was removed from the rumors. The extended family learned the truth. My brother and sister faced legal consequences, fines, restitution, and the judgment of everyone who'd believed their lies.
Some relatives apologized to me, others avoided me entirely, ashamed they doubted me. I didn't gloat, I didn't rub it in, I just stepped back. I focused on my work, on my patients, on the people who valued my compassion and didn't weaponize it against me. I redefined what family meant. Family isn't people who share your blood, it's people who protect you, who respect you, who don't humiliate you when you're grieving. I thought I'd lost my place at the table, but I realized I'd never wanted a seat where I had to beg to be seen. If you've ever been pushed out by your family or falsely accused by the people who were supposed to love you, I want you to know you're not alone. If you've been excluded during a critical moment and made to feel like you were the problem, share your story in the comments. Subscribe to join a community that believes in accountability and healing. Click hype to help this story reach someone who needs to hear it today.